Next on WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show. Joe, I'm not sure anybody saw this kind of season from Alex Rodriguez. Did you see this kind of year from him?
No, I don't think that you could expect this much, and probably because he's almost 40 years old. He's going to turn 40 this month, and it's just, you know, a lot of players struggle, but I think that just the DHing has really helped him physically. Some sporadic days off has really helped him. I knew if he was healthy, he had a chance to help us, but I don't think I anticipated that he'd be at 18 homers and 50 RBIs.
Joe, I've talked with him a lot this season, and he just seems to be in such a good place, and he keeps talking about how that, he believes, has helped translate to his production. Do you think that comfort level he's reached has also resulted in what we've seen on the field?
I definitely think so. I think it's another situation where the game was taken away, and you appreciate it a lot more. He's like a little kid. I mean, he's giddy every day, and he's smiling, and he's having fun, and he's laughing, and he's great in the clubhouse, and you know, he pulls guys together. So for Alex, this has been like, you know what, this is my last hurrah, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
He's been so good offensively that you can't take him out of that DH role. How different is that than what you were expecting for that particular slot? Because you have some other guys who maybe could use some days there, but they're not going to get him because you want his bat in the lineup,
I think we thought we'd probably rotate the DH more than we have, but because he's been so good and been such a big part of our offense, and the great thing about it is he earned it. You know, when the season started, he was hitting seventh, and he earned his way up to third. You know, and I talked to him about, you know, when we first came into camp, it's like being a rookie again. You know, just go out and earn your at-bats, and he's done that. And
not, Joe, I don't know that every former star would necessarily embrace that, right? No matter what they've been through, and he had unique circumstances, but it's got to feel good to know he loves the game that much that he's willing to go through that process, right?
Well, I think all of us would love to be able to say, I'm going to be young again.
Yeah.
I'm going to act young again, and I can be a kid again and just go have fun. And I think that's what he's doing, and I think that's one of the really reasons he's thriving.
Why do you think that Mark Teixeira has had such a big bounce back year?
He's healthy. Bottom line, he's healthy. He keeps himself in tremendous shape. But he's a year removed from the wrist. He had a normal offseason where he could train the way he needed. It wasn't just rehabbing the wrist, and I think that's why he's having a great year.
Do you think that he ever had any doubt? Because it was 2 years, right? 1 year where he's totally hurt, another year where he's still kind of coming back, is set back by it, and never really regained form. Did you ever see him having doubt that if he was healthy, he'd be able to get back to what he was 2 seasons ago?
I think he probably knew his mind. If he was healthy, he would be extremely productive. But, you know, I'm sure that he had some questions about his wrist because he battled it last year and probably was curious to get to spring training and get into games and to see how it responded. But he's been a huge part of our offense. And defensively, he helps us so much.
Didi Gregorius, he takes on the role of having to replace Derek Jeter, be your shortstop. And I don't know that he necessarily was put in the spotlight of having to replace Derek, but he didn't get off to a good start anyway, even without those comparisons. Did you always have faith that he would get to the place that he is in now?
Well, we knew he was talented, and you know, it took some time. But I think being a player that came over here from another organization and felt the weight of the expectations and replacing someone, and I wasn't replacing a superstar. I was replacing Mike Stanley, a very good player, and was a fan favorite. But I wasn't replacing Derek Jeter or Don Mattingly or, you know, someone of that stature. And it was difficult the first month. So I knew that if we could just get him through that first part, the pressure of coming to New York, we felt he'd be fine.
Did you think about that when you replaced? Because you're right, Mike Stanley was a fan favorite. Did you think about, oh my gosh, they're used to Mike doing this or doing that when you first took over the role?
Yeah, I mean, it started when I was signed and traded for. I mean, it started on the radio, and they had a song about me, and there were signs, and at the welcome home, not the welcome home dinner, people weren't excited that I was there. So it did take some time, but, you know, some people had some talks with me. Don Zimmer had a talk with me and said, just be yourself. And my wife Kim said, just be yourself. Just go play. And I teased her. I always said it was her Newt Rockney speech.
And it worked out nicely for you.
Yeah.
And so far it's worked out for Didi as well. Brian McCann has also given you guys great pop behind the plate, Joe. Now, his home road splits, and it feels like he's done a little more damage on the road this year, but he's so built for that ballpark. Joe, sometimes people look at that as a bad thing, but can't that be a really good thing when you're playing 81 games there?
I think it's a really good thing. You're playing 81 games in the same park, so you want your team built around your ballpark because that's the place you're going to play the most. So, and we are that way. I mean, that's who we are, and that's why we hit home runs, and we have left-handed pull hitters, and we're never going to get away from that because, you know, if you win 2/3 of your games at home, it takes a lot of pressure off of you on the road and gives you a great chance to make the playoffs.
And McCann, the way he's been producing for you guys this year, Joe, the middle of that order, I mean, because you've gotten this kind of production, do you feel about as comfortable as you could have hoped with 3, 4, 5?
Oh, it's been really stable. You know, we've kept those guys there, for most of the year, so you feel really confident. And whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander, we're not really worried about it because Brian has driven the ball against left-handers as well. So it's nice being able to pencil them in every day.